A very good afternoon. You're watching the Midday News on Rajya Sabha television, where we get you the biggest developing news stories at the top of one. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor, and these are the headlines. Russian President Vladimir Putin to arrive today on two-day India visit. Several agreements, including one on S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile system, likely. Prime Minister Modi and President Putin to hold 19th India-Russia annual bilateral summit. Supreme Court allows the deportation of 7 Rohingyas who illegally migrated to Assam in 2012. They will be handed over to Myanmar authorities at Manipur border today. Direct tax collections for 2018-19 up to September 16.7% higher than collections for same period last year. Refunds of 1.03 lakh crore rupees issued during April to September period. That is 30.4% higher than previous year. International Monetary Fund warns countries against rolling back reforms, says it could make global financial system less safe and risk stability. Adds the reforms agenda must be coordinated and completed globally. And Prithvi Shaw hits a test century on debut against West Indies in Rajkot. Feat achieved in 99 balls as India is in strong position on day one of the first test. Our top story this afternoon, 7 Rohingya immigrants held at a detention center in Assam will be handed over to Myanmar after the Supreme Court today refused to stop their deportation. The apex court said that the 7 Rohingyas were found by the competent court as illegal immigrants and Myanmar had accepted them as its citizens. The centre told the apex court that the 7 Rohingyas have illegally migrated to India in 2012 and they were convicted under Foreigners Act. The centre also informed the court that Myanmar has issued a certificate of identity to these 7 Rohingyas along with 1-month visa to facilitate their deportation. Now, this is for the first time that Rohingya immigrants would be sent back to Myanmar from India. They will be handed over to Myanmar authorities at Moreh border in Manipur today. The centre had informed Parliament that more than 14,000 Rohingya people registered with the UN Refugee Agency UNHCR stay in India. And on to the other top story, Russian President Vladimir Putin will arrive on a 2-day visit to India today. During the visit, he along with Prime Minister Modi will hold the 19th India-Russia annual bilateral summit. The two leaders are expected to review bilateral defense cooperation in the wake of US sanctions against Russian defense majors. The two leaders are also expected to deliberate on the impact of US sanctions on import of crude oil from Iran.
Well, the new thing is actually the atmosphere. The visit is a routine annual visit, which has been going on since 2000. But it's the atmosphere, the new international atmosphere, that makes this visit very interesting. The United States has sort of upturned the old order. So all great powers are talking to each other, trying to see what are the adjustments that are required. So that makes it very interesting. They will discuss in greater detail the situation in the region, in West Asia, Afghanistan. These are all areas which are of vital importance to both.
At least 10 agreements related to bilateral trade are likely to be signed following the talks. The spotlight, however, is on the multi-billion-dollar S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile system deal that is expected. Both the sides have almost concluded negotiations on the 40,000 crore rupees deal, under which Russia will supply a batch of the missile system to India. India wants to procure the long-range missile systems to tighten its air defense mechanism, particularly along the nearly 4,000-kilometer-long Sino-India border. Russia has been one of India's key suppliers of arms and ammunition. Russian President Vladimir Putin will also meet President Ram Nath Kovind on Friday. He will also address an India-Russia business meet.
There is actually no equivalent to the S-400. The Americans never produced anything like this because they never needed it. Their air defense systems are completely different. I'm not an expert to say which is better, which is worse, but given the necessities that we were facing, this was the optimal choice we had. I'm sure the US has systems which are better and some that are worse. But given the context in which we are, we have found the optimal solution for our security needs.
All right, our Foreign Affairs editor Kelly Suman is now joining us from the newsroom for more on this story. Kelly, of course, Putin is going to arrive in India, but all eyes are on the S-400 Triumph air missile system that will, the deal that will be inked between the two nations. And we understand that India will be the third country in the world to have the S-400 Triumph missile. So tell us how the introduction of this missile will be a game changer in the region for India.
Really, Aishwarya, this is really going to be a game changer, not only in defense terms, but also in political terms. Because, see, this is the time when world is in transition. Different nations are asserting their might and their identity. And India has always been advocating for being multipolar world, for advocating multipolarity in the whole political and diplomatic situation, also in the financial and defense system. And in this backdrop, if you see that how much was the pressure for Americans not to buy S-400. They also always wanted to depend on themselves. But India has always been consistent that yes, we do have very good relations with USA, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have a good relation with another country. And also that whatever we will need, we will buy and we will procure from wherever we require and we want. So it is our need-based understanding that what things have to be procured in India for what purposes. So in this way, you can say that this is a game changer because every nation is asserting their identity, their might in the place of the world, and India has always been telling that we have been considered all options in the world that how we can be more secure. And India has also conveyed to the US that see the S-400 is not going to be used against you. It is against some other countries with whom you are also challenged. So it is in a way that a win-win situation for both the countries. It should not be the question of buy and sell. It should be a question of who is getting stronger. You consider India an ally, you have made Quad with India, and if India is getting stronger in a defense requirement, it is good for both US and India. So it should not be objection. So this is the framework in which India has been convincing the US that yes, we are going to do it. And it also has been telling the Russians that yes, we do have some convergence of understanding with US, but when our interests converge with you, with Russians, we are also buying from you, we are also having relations with you, and it will also add to the whole mechanics of how Russia will gain out of it, because the Russians will also gain.
But Akhilesh, what about the threat of US sanctions? Because US did impose sanctions on China for the similar issue.
India is capable to face any situation, Aishwarya. We had had sanctions when we did Pokhran 1 and then Pokhran 2 and then we did it. So it did not affect. So if US wants to confront with India, I think that India has many mechanisms that it can talk to US, it can see that how it can be mitigated. But India has decided, and India has decided to face any situation, and it will give a message to US that you should behave with allies in a way allies want to do with themselves. It cannot be that you can impose anything and allies will accept it. So it is, I think, that US understands, and US is also counting all its measures that how to deal with India, because India is not Turkey. India is not an old NATO ally that you can impose your will. Yes. So India has been always independent in its whole understanding, and US has to understand in this point of time. And there can be no better time than this, that India should send this message to US very clearly.
Absolutely. So India and Russia are likely to go ahead with that S-400 deal after the bilateral talks between the two leaders. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates. We'll keep coming back to you for more on that story. And on to some other news. Prime Minister Modi has described environment protection as a pressing challenge. He has called for the need to spread public awareness about the issue and said that it is vital to encourage research and innovation on subjects relating to the environment. In a column in leading dailies, he said that people need to talk, write, debate, discuss and deliberate as much as possible on questions relating to the environment. He said that imbalances between greed and necessities have led to grave ecological imbalances. He cautioned that people can either accept this, go ahead with the things as if it is business as usual, or take corrective actions. He added that while the world is talking about climate change, the call for climate justice has also reverberated from India. The Prime Minister was honoured to remember with the UN's highest environmental award, the Champions of the Earth Award, at a special ceremony in New Delhi yesterday. And the International Court of Justice has fixed 18th to 21st of February 2019 for the public hearing in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. Jadhav was sentenced to death by a Pakistani military court on spying charges in April 2017, and India have moved the ICJ in May the same year against the verdict. The ICJ has halted Jadhav's execution on India's appeal, pending the final verdict by it. Both India and Pakistan have already submitted their detailed pleas and responses in the World Court. In its submission to the ICJ, Pakistan had stated that Jadhav is not an ordinary person, as he had entered the country with the intent of spying and carrying out sabotage activities. However, India denies all the charges and maintains that Jadhav was kidnapped from Iran, where he had business interests after retiring from the Navy, and that he has no links with the Indian government. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, headed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, approved higher minimum support prices for Rabi crops on Wednesday. It includes a 6% hike in support price of wheat at 1,840 rupees per quintal for 2018-19 season, increase in MSP of barley by 30 rupees per quintal to 1,440 rupees per quintal. The hike by 220 rupees per quintal for chana, whose price is now 4,620 rupees per quintal, and support price of mustard hiked by 200 rupees to 4,200 rupees per quintal. The decision will help farmers earn an additional income of 62,635 crore rupees and is in line with the government's announcement to provide farmers a 50% profit over the cost of production. In another decision, the Cabinet also approved metro rail projects for Bhopal and Indore to be completed in 4 years at an estimated cost of 6,941.4 crore rupees.
By increasing the MSP today, the farmers of India will have an additional income to the tune of 62,635 crores. Wheat का cost of production है 8 rupees 866 per quintal. 866 per क्विंटल और हमने एमएसपी दिया है रुपीस 1840 per क्विंटल, which gives a return of 112.5% over cost of production.
On to some other news now. The Finance Ministry today said that a gross direct tax collection up to September to the financial year grew 16.7% to 5.47 lakh crore rupees. In a statement released by the Ministry of Finance, it said that the provisional figures is higher than the gross collections for the corresponding period of last year. It added that the refunds amounting to 1.03 lakh crore rupees have been issued during April 2018 to September 2018, which is 30.4% higher than refunds issued during the same period in the preceding year. Meanwhile, net collections have increased by 14% to 4.44 lakh crore rupees during April 2018 to September 2018. The net direct tax collections represent 38.6% of the total budget estimates of direct taxes. Gross corporate income tax and personal income tax collections grew 19.5% and 19.1% respectively. The Ayushmann Bharat Health Scheme has benefited more than 23,000 patients within the first 10 days of its launch. A total of 23,287 medical insurance claims worth 38.1 crore rupees have been settled with both private and public hospitals under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Up to 23,299 claims worth 45 crore rupees have been received by 2nd of October. Now, according to official data, the average claims size per patient within the 10 days is 19,357. By early this week, 32,814 hospitals have applied for empanelment. Moreover, although 31 states and union territories have accepted the scheme, 5 states have not, that is Delhi, Punjab, Odisha, Kerala and Telangana. Prime Minister Modi launched the Ayushmann Bharat scheme last month. The scheme offers medical insurance cover worth 5 lakh rupees to poor patients, covering pre- and post-hospitalization, diagnostics, medication and transport costs, among other things. The Ayushmann Bharat scheme aims to reach 50 crore beneficiaries. The centre has said that it stands committed to ensure the safety of vaccines. Now, this is in reaction to reports in a section of media mentioning that the bivalent oral polio vaccine supplied by a particular manufacturer had some quality issues. The Ministry of Health said that India was certified polio-free in March 2014 and it continues to be so. The Health Ministry further said that India continues to remain vigilant against all 3 types of polio viruses. The last polio case due to wild polio virus in the country was detected in January 2011. The ministry further said that India has continued WHO engagement to support it, maintain international quality surveillance for polio virus detection in the country, and as part of efforts to maintain high immunity against all polio viruses, India provides inactivated polio virus vaccine and BOPV to all infants across the country under routine immunization. Time for a very short break. We'll be right back.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has said that no country can make progress if the women lag behind. Delivering the convocation address at the University College for Women in Hyderabad, he said that educating a woman will not only just help her, but also the entire family. He added that education is an instrument of a social transformation. He also counted the benefits of women's education.
Notwithstanding the fact that women's literacy rate in India is still less than the world average, 65.6% as against world average of 79.6%, there is a huge awareness among the people about the importance of education, women's education in India. It is needless to say that education forms the foundation of empowering women, especially in a country like India, as had been mostly aptly said. Educating a woman means educating the entire family. This has to be understood by all parents. According to a report of the United Nations World Survey on Role of Women in Development, women's active participation in decision-making has a positive impact on education, on health, on nutrition, on employment, and also on social protection. These are all the benefits of women getting educated. Today, the women of India are more confident than their counterparts in the world. They are leaders of many Fortune 500 companies. They are also excelling as entrepreneurs, scientists, sportspersons, politicians, and even as combat pilots. They are also making the entire nation proud with their achievements. Empowering women is empowering our entire country and community. Empowering women is not only empowering country, but it's empowering entire humanity. We cannot claim to be a developed country unless women are given equal opportunities.
On to some political news now. BJP President Amit Shah on Wednesday appointed election in charge for poll-bound states of Telangana, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Senior BJP leader and Union Health Minister JP Nadda has been made the election in charge of Telangana. Union HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar has been given the charge for Rajasthan, and Union Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan has been named in charge for Madhya Pradesh. Remember, all the three states go to polls later this year. And in a major setback to opposition unity ahead of Lok Sabha elections next year, BSP chief Mayawati has ruled out any alliance with the Congress and announced that her party will contest the assembly elections in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh either on its own or with regional parties. Mayawati criticized the Congress, accusing it of not trying to crush the BSP. She also questioned the intentions of the Congress party on defeating the BJP. Now, citing the result of Gujarat elections, Mayawati said that the Congress does not seem to have learnt its lessons. She also said that the Congress party has become arrogant and thinks that it can defeat the BJP alone. The BSP also ditched Congress in Chhattisgarh. Last month, Mayawati had announced her party will contest with Ajit Jogi's party for the Chhattisgarh assembly polls.
कुछ ऐसे निजी स्वार्थी नेता हैं जो केंद्र में बीजेपी की सरकार की सीबीआई व ईडी आदि की जांच एजेंसियों के डर से घबराकर वे कुछ राज्यों में होने वाले आम चुनाव में व इसके बाद देश में होने वाले लोकसभा आम चुनाव में भी किसी भी कीमत पर कांग्रेस व बीएसपी का चुनावी समझौता नहीं होने देना चाहते हैं.
And reacting to Mayawati's announcement, Congress leader Randeep Surjewala said that at times the sweet and bitter things are said out of emotions. He added that if Mayawati holds a trust in Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, then other creases can be ironed out, indicating that the window for a tie-up in 2019 was still open.
कांग्रेस के किसी नेता के बारे में की गई प्रतिकूल टिप्पणी से हम असहमत हैं, परंतु कई बार भावार्थ, आवेश में, भावनाओं में बहुत सारी बातें कही जाती हैं, कड़वी और मीठी. अगर सुश्री मायावती जी का संपूर्ण विश्वास राहुल गांधी जी में है, अगर सुश्री मायावती जी का संपूर्ण विश्वास हमारी मार्गदर्शक श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी में है, तो बाकी की क्रीजेस हम आयरन आउट कर लेंगे.
News from Jammu and Kashmir. BJP will control the Municipal Corporation in militancy-infested Shopian district of South Kashmir after 13 of its candidates won the civic body polls unopposed. Meanwhile, most people maintained a distance from the electoral exercise following threats by terror groups. The Shopian district, which has been the battleground of numerous encounters between militants and the security forces, has a 17-member municipal corporation. The BJP fielded candidates for 13 wards, while no nomination was fielded for the remaining seats. The state BJP claimed that it was a historic win. The state's major political parties, that is both the National Conference and the PDP, decided to boycott the elections over the legal challenge to Article 35A of the Constitution in the Supreme Court. Overall, of the 598 wards in the Kashmir Valley, 151 candidates were declared as unopposed winners. On to some other news. The National Green Tribunal has directed public sector oil companies to install vapor recovery devices at all the fuel stations by 31st of October. The direction is in a bid to tackle the menace of toxic emissions at petrol pumps. Vapor recovery device is an instrument to capture displaced vapors that emerge from inside a vehicle's fuel tank when petrol or diesel is dispensed into it. The NGT said that the installation of machines was necessary in wake of the adverse effects of chemicals on human health and environment. It also directed the Central Pollution Control Board to file a compliance report after taking compliance reports from all the oil companies by 15th of January next year. The tribunal was hearing the plea, contending that the petroleum products at fuel stations contribute significantly to air pollution. And the International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, has warned countries against rolling back reforms. It said the move could make the global financial system less safe and jeopardize stability. The body said that reform efforts must continue to be coordinated internationally. The financial body said this during the release of its report, Regulatory Reform 10 Years After the Global Financial Crisis, Looking Back, Looking Forward. It added that it supports a proportionate approach to regulation and supervision. It said a rollback of reforms could spawn opportunities for regulatory arbitrage and lead to a race to the bottom in regulation and supervision. It said that 10 years after the onset of the global financial crisis, progress is clear, but the reform agenda must be completed. The IMF also noted that increased cybersecurity risks challenges for financial institutions, financial infrastructure and supervisors. Amidst escalating global war tensions, the IMF has also urged countries to work together to build a global trade system that is stronger, fairer and fit for the future. And US President Donald Trump has said that the Saudi kingdom will collapse in 2 weeks in the absence of American protection, further increasing his pressure on one of its closest Mid-East allies. Donald Trump's statement came amid rising oil prices and Trump's reference to Saudi Arabia, which has the potential to strain the bilateral relationship, came in the context of the US providing security protection to rich nations and getting nothing in return. As crude oil prices reach a 4-year high, Donald Trump has repeatedly demanded OPEC and Saudi Arabia, the world's biggest oil exporter, to push down prices. And on to all the sporting action, teenager Prithvi Shaw became the youngest Indian and the 4th youngest overall to score a century on Test debut against the West Indies in Rajkot today. Shaw also became the youngest Indian to score a half-century on Test debut. Only Sachin Tendulkar and Parthiv Patel were younger than Shaw when they got their maiden Test half-centuries, but not on debut. Now, India were 133 for 1 at lunch against West Indies on the opening day of the Rajkot Test. For West Indies, Sherman Lewis is making his debut. Now, this is the first test of the 2-match series. And that's all in this edition of Midday News. Up ahead is Khabar Dopeher. Thanks for watching.